everybody. I made it. I wasn't sure if the internet was going to work tonight. It was a little bit nutty. Um, have no idea what happened. It was just all of a sudden things just weren't right. And I don't know. So we'll see. Looks like I've got internet anyway tonight. So we'll see what we can do tonight. So, how is everybody? It's a nice Sunday, beautiful day. It's going to be, I think, even a little bit warmer tomorrow. So, hello. I can see people are coming in. Awesome. So, I'm so glad that it worked. So, let me turn off the little banner here. And I've got my other tablet here, so because I'm going to be sharing my screen with you here in a little bit. So, but I wanted to show you something that's coming up for April. So, we'll do that first before I put it down to my screen so you can see my software. Oh, and by the way, there was a software update a couple days ago, 2-3 days ago. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure that you go and do the update to Embroidery Toolshed, Perfect Embroidery Pro. So how is everybody? Oh, Jackie's here from sunny California. Is it nice and warm there? I hope so. We have some new people here tonight. So tonight is going to be, and welcome everybody. We have a bunch of new people coming in from YouTube. So hello everybody. And I'm hoping you're enjoying the group. And we've been kind of a small group until recently. So we've gained like 100 members in the last, about 2 or 3 weeks. So thank you very much for coming and joining us. And it's kind of fun to have people from all over the country to talk to and see what people are doing, because everybody does something different, makes something different, does different kinds of patterns, So anyway, it's kind of fun. I've really enjoyed it. So welcome to all of our new people from YouTube. The one thing I wanted to do over the Christmas holiday was to open up the group so that people could easily find it. And that's one of the things I did over my little Christmas break. So, yep. Thanks, Jan. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about font editor in Perfect Embroidery Pro. Now, font editor I think it was added maybe a couple of years ago, almost. And basically what it does is it has, if you've purchased fonts like that are PES fonts, in order to make words, you've got to, bring in a letter and then bring in another letter and bring in another letter and keep merging them together to make words. Well, font editor will allow you to actually make the font into a keyboard font so that you can just type it and use the text tool out of those PES fonts. So it's really, really cool. And it'll also allow you to digitize your own fonts. So from like a TrueType font. So if you have a TrueType font that you use like for, say your cutting machine or something that you just really love, you can actually make a keyboard font out of that as well that's digitized. So I'm going to show you a couple different things today. You can also use the text tool right now using the TrueType fonts as they did kind of digitize on the fly. And so you can already do that. But some of them are better than others. Let's put it that way. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to that section. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to take your PES fonts and make keyboard fonts out of them. And so then all those beautiful fonts you won't have to, like bring up the first one and then edit merge or file merge to get all the, to get all the words in there. So I actually really like, this font editor. It's very user friendly because I've used a couple of other ones in other software and I didn't find it as easy to use. This was just like super easy. It's a little bit repetitive. You have to do something over and over to get it to work, but it's super easy. So, okay. But what I wanted to show you is that I just got done posting some stuff up here. And I made these pillows, and some of you new people, I don't know if you, hopefully you can see this. My light is not the best in here. Okay. So this is one of my settee pillows, and I did the whole series of these. There's 6 of them, and they were all seasonal and like holidays. So this was the Easter one. And when I put all the videos up on Sew Along with Jan on YouTube, guess what? I never taught my own Easter pillow. So this year we're going to do my pillow. This is Hippity Hoppity Happy Easter Day. So we are going to do this in April, which is Easter, you know, is not till the 3rd week in April. It's about as late as it can get. So we are going to do this the first 2 weeks of April. And then in March, we'll do the 2 little Easter pillows from Kimberbell, the 2 little bench buddies. But I've been wanting to do this because I wanted a video to put up there on YouTube. So anyway, here's Hippity Hoppity Happy Easter Day. This is available on my website. So if you need, it's in the description for the event. So you can just click on the link and it'll take you to sew-along-with-jan.square.site. That's my website. And you can purchase the design if you would like to make the design with, or make the little pillow with me. So anyway, this is going to be the first 2 weeks in April. So I wanted to show that to you before I went and shared my screen. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen to get down to my software here. So let me a second here. Let me get the share screen, entire screen. All right. So it's going to look a little weird right now. And I just want my screen. Okay. And then in second here, you should be able to see my software. And so far, the internet seems to be okay. So if you see or hear anything weird, let me know, okay? I'm trying to watch your comments on my tablet. So that's next to me, so I should be able to see, okay? All right, so we're going to talk about font editor. I found very, very little about this section of the software. And I thought this would be really cool. So I did some Googling and I finally found one 7-minute video that Ashley Jones had done for Dime. She works for Dime. And you may know her if you've come to some of our events, because she's done several of our events. So anyway, I found one 7-minute video about this. And I thought, well, there has to be more about this somewhere. Well, guess what? I found it there. It's in the back of the new manual. So if you haven't downloaded a manual lately for Perfect Embroidery Pro, let me show you how to get to it. Also, I have added it to the Dropbox. So if you go to Sew Along with Jan, the very first post is the Dropbox. And under the software link, I have put the newest version of the manual there also, because I downloaded it and uploaded it to Dropbox. So we have the new one there. But it is in the back of the manual. Okay, so there's a whole section. It says User's Manual Font Editor. So I was like, oh, hallelujah. I've got a whole manual here. There's probably about 30 pages that I'm going to kind of go through all of them and kind of highlight them all for you tonight. Okay. So I have opened my software, and like I said, there was an update. So I just updated mine. I think it was just a few days ago, and I hadn't updated this computer yet. So I updated this computer. My inspiration today comes up, and I'm just going to create a new design to get started here. So the first thing I want to show you is how to get to the manual if you don't have the new manual, or if you don't want to go to Sew Along with Jan in the Dropbox. Okay. So there's another way to get to it. If you go down to the bottom here where like the sequence view is, you know, you can get the sequence view, the designs, all that jazz down here. One of the little tabs is the little shopping cart or the purchases you have. And if you go to that and go up to Perfect Embroidery Pro, which is right here, and I've got a yellow check there, that means it's activated. And then if I go to the little polka dots, the 3 little polka dots right here, it gives me the option of manual or tutorial. So if I click tutorial, it'll take me to the YouTube channel that has the tutorials for Perfect Embroidery Pro. If I click on manual, it will take me to the download that is 204 pages for the manual. And the font editor stuff is way at the end. It's like 150 something here. See if I can find it. It's in the manual here. It's way at the back. But I was so excited to find something because I couldn't find anything. I really wanted to do this. And I'm like, well, gosh, I gotta find something about it. Here it is right here. What page is it? Gotta go back up a page. Here we go. It's on page 169 of the manual. So that's where it starts. And it basically takes the rest of the manual then. Okay, for the most part. There's a little bit at the end. But that's it says user's manual font editor. Okay. So if you don't have your manual, you can get it through the software and download it and print. I just print it off and I use that little, I love my, I want to say my comb binding machine. So I have mine bound and I actually do need to re-download it because the manual I have was the one just previous to this. So there's actually been a few pages added. So I need to download it again, but it did have the font editor manual in it. So I just wrote notes in here. Okay. So this is the manual. So that's one way to get the manual. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close this. All right. Go back to the software. So that's where you go to get it. Go to the little shopping cart, Perfect Embroidery Pro, go to the 3 dots and choose manual. Okay. Same thing goes for any of the other software. You know, if you have my quilt embellisher, go to the little dots and you can go to the manual. Okay. So any of the newest manuals are always going to be right there in the software so you can access them. Okay. All right. So let's talk about font editor. Font editor, in the manual, if you happen to have the manual or your book open, it allows you to convert an owned or purchased alphabet design collection to a keyboard embroidery font. And I would say that's probably what I'm going to use it for the most. Okay. The keyboard embroidery font will be accessible through the text tool. So just like the regular text up here, if I click the little text tool and click down on here, my font that I make is going to be right in here. Okay. Like with just all the other fonts. And that's what's so cool because then it's just a regular font. The help button, it is Lynn, but I found that I don't always get the most current one there. That's why I use it under the purchases, because for some reason, I don't always get the most current manual there. I don't know why. And I don't know why, if it's because I'm not under that specific software. That could be what it is. Okay, but yes, you can access it through help. So that way my font would be over here underneath my normal font list. Now I did a couple of these before, and one of the ones that I did while I was practicing this is called Aaron's script. So here's Aaron's script. This was a little free font that I got somewhere. I have no idea. It's a really cute font and had upper and lowercase letters. And so this is one of the ones that I just did myself. So see, there's a little bit, you have to do a little bit of adjustment with the kerning here, but it is a really cute font. So this was a free one that I got somewhere. I have no idea how long I've had it, but this way now, instead of having to bring each letter in individually, see, I can just bring it in as a keyboard font. I just typed it in, and there's my name. So isn't that cool? And then this one here, like the J, I'd like it to be lower, so I'm going to bring it down like this. Okay, like that. Okay. So that is one of the ones I did. I've got about 6 or 7 different ones. I've got a little list next to me that I've done so far. And then I'm just going to show you how this works. It is actually quite easy to do. If you have Dime Inspiration software, Word Art in Stitches. So some of you may have that Word Art in Stitches. It's another one that's down here. Let me show. I think I've got it too. If you have Word Art in Stitches, where'd it go? I went, oh, it's right under Perfect Embroidery Pro. So if you have Word Art and Stitches, that program also has font editor. So it's just Perfect Embroidery Pro and Word Art and Stitches. Word Art and Stitches, however, will not allow you to digitize your own fonts. That's only in Perfect Embroidery Pro. So that they added another layer to this full software. Okay. Now I know a couple of you that are watching tonight only have the embroidery suite, the older software. So you'll have to let me know if this is actually in it. I doubt it. So if you don't have the Perfect Embroidery Pro, I bet you won't have font editor. But please let me know, because I know there's a couple of you that have the older software. Okay. And then there's a couple of stitch types that are not available to convert to when you are making your own fonts, and we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. Steel and outline are not available to make fonts out of. Most of the time, you're going to be using a satin stitch font for the most part. Okay, so obviously that's what this is. But this was a PES file that was already digitized, and I just brought the letters in. Okay, all right. So let's get to this. This is really fun to play with. I'm just going to click a new page here. Go up to new. I'm going to click a new page. To get to the font editor, it's under Tools, and it is under Font Editor. Okay, so I'm just going to go to Tools and Font Editor. And it's going to bring up this little box. Okay. I'm kind of turning the pages as I go so I don't miss anything. Okay. So you got this little dialog box up. So choose and follow one of the 4 specific sections depending on the type of font you are adding. So in this case, I'm just going to add a PES font that I purchased. So convert an owned or purchased alphabet design collection to a keyboard embroidery font. Okay. So what I want to do, I've got my little dialog box up. I'm just going to click new because I want to make a new one. Okay. Now I haven't decided which one I'm going to do, so I probably should go look. So I've got a whole bunch of fonts from Baby K's is one place. So I'm just going to hit cancel for a second. So let's go find one to do here. So I'm going to go into my documents, and I don't know what all of them are called. So I forgot to tell myself what I was going to do. So we'll just go look. So I'm going to go into my embroidery designs. I'm in my documents. I'm going to go to my embroidery designs. And I know I've got a whole bunch from Baby K's. There's a whole bunch of fonts, and there's a whole folder just full of fonts here. Okay. So let's see. Well, this one sounds interesting. Fairy Tale. So let me see. Ooh, that one's cool. So how about we do Fairy Tale? That looks really cool. So this one has upper and lowercase letters. And that looks really cool. So let's do that one. That one's called, let me make a note here that it's Fairy Tale, so I don't forget which one it is. Fairy Tale font. Okay. So I don't forget which one I'm doing. Well, Jan, it took me a while. Jan says I'm organized. Well, one winter many years ago, I had like hundreds of CDs that I had downloaded all these designs and put them on CDs. And I spent the whole winter organizing all my designs. I organized them in a folder called Embroidery Designs, and inside that folder is the name of the company that made the design, and then inside that folder is the name of the design pack. So I spent hours and hours doing that, but now it's easy to take care of because I've already done all the hard work. But it was definitely worth it. I can find it. So okay, so now we're going to do fairy tale font. All right, so let's go back to the software. I'm going to click new again, and I'm going to name this fairy tale. Fairy tale. Fairy tale like that. Fairy tale, or is it 2 words? I don't remember. You guys remember? Let's just we'll do 2 words. Looks weird, one word. We'll do 2 words. Fairy tale. Oops, like that. Fairy, whoops, I can't spell fairy. Fairy tale. There we go. Okay. Now, it gives me a couple of options here. So I'm going to turn the page so I don't forget a step. This one, you can initialize from a TrueType font, because remember I told you we can make our own fonts from TrueType fonts in the software, or I can use a stitch design. So these are already in stitches. These are stitch designs. They're already PES files. Okay, I'm going to click. So I'm going to click on stitch designs for this one. Okay. And then I'm going to go down to the next line and say folder, and I'm going to go look for that design that I wanted. So I was in my documents. I was in embroidery designs. Oops, I think I went past it. Can you do this with free fonts that you download? Yes. So Cindy, a lot of the ones that I've done so far are free fonts. No, they do not have to be in PES. They can be in any format, any format except BX. They need to be in a whatever stitch format you have. So like if you have VP3 or VIP or whatever, you can use those too. Okay, so I'm going to go to baby case. That's where they were. And then this one was called, it was in a fonts folder. And let's see. It's called fairy tale. I guess it is 1 word, so we may have to. We can fix that. I'll show you how to fix that a little bit. So we're going to open up fairy tale and PES. Now, oops, look, there's nothing in there. Well, there actually is. It's because we're selecting the folder. So even though you opened up that folder, you wouldn't have had to. But I wanted to open it up so you could see there's nothing there. It doesn't look like there's anything there, but there actually is. Okay, so I'm going to select this whole folder of fonts because there was upper and lowercase letters. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom and I'm going to click select folder. Okay, so now it has chosen that folder for me. Okay. Then I'm going to click navigate where the alphabet collection is located. You do not need to select a file from the folder as there may not be anything to select. That's what we saw. We are selecting the folder where the files are located. So that's fine. So then I'm going to click OK. Right click on the letter icons to import the stitch designs and then fix any potential conversion issues. OK. So I'm going to click OK. So then what happens is it populates the alphabet for me up here. Okay. So if you give me a second, I'm going to turn my page again so I don't miss any steps. All right. There is no batch conversion. Okay. So when you do these, and it does take a little time, you have to do every letter by itself. Once location is showing, then click OK. And then I got the little thing that says right click on the letter icons to import the stitch file. So you cannot batch convert. You have to do these each individually, but it's very fast. Okay. So you will notice the font editor dialog box will reappear with fonts displayed. Okay. So here's the fonts. These are not actually the font that we're doing, but if I right click on the uppercase letter A and import, then it opens up in the folder that we chose. So see, here's all these letters then. So I'm going to go ahead and make them into icons so we can see them. So then I can see what they are. So here's my uppercase A, and I'm going to click open. Okay. And then we're going to right click and we're going to import, and I'm going to do the uppercase B and open. See there, see how they're showing up in on the screen up here? Then we're going to do the C, import. There's my uppercase C and open. Right click, import, uppercase D and open. So just keep going. You just keep going through all of these. I'm going to import and going to get the E. Here's my uppercase E. And then F, import. Oops, got to find the F. It's down here somewhere. There it is, uppercase F. Now on these, if you see, I don't know if you can see it very well on the screen, but these, the uppercase letters are like an uppercase, and then they do the lowercase letters with two lowercase, like an EE that are lowercase. So here's the uppercase F, G. Okay, so then you just keep going through here and grabbing all those letters. Okay. And the you just have to go do each one. Now, the one thing that I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about over on the left here before we go any further. The reference character represents the distance used when pressing the space bar. The default character is M. So normally the letter M is the widest letter. Okay. Or the W is the widest letter. And so down here, if you see under here, I left everything at the default suggestions. And then the other here shows that the reference character is M. Okay. So you can change that if you want to, but most of the time that's a good one to use. The line spacing default is set at 40%, but is adjustable. And I just left everything at default because I found that they were very close. And then you can always kern it when you bring them in. Okay. I have to kern even the ones that are in the software. So I didn't see there was any reason to change any of these default settings. Let's see. Show characters indicates what style of keyboard is being used. Okay. And then we're just going to import. So let's keep going. Here's the H. Right click, import. See how easy this is? Super easy. It just takes a little time. Here's my uppercase H. Then I'm going to go I, import. Here's the letter I. And here's J, import. Here's the J, open. So I'm just right clicking, import. And then I'm going to go into JK. We need K. Okay. And then here's L, import. Uppercase L we're looking for. Here it is. So you can see it's a little tedious, but you know, it's going to be, it takes a little bit, but it's kind of fun and it's something mindless to sit and do. And then you have all these extra fonts that, you know, you buy all these fonts, and wouldn't it be nice to be able to type them instead of having to bring them all in this way? Once you get them in, then they're in. Let's go find the O. Here's O, uppercase O. Here's P. Let's see, here's the uppercase P. So you just keep going down the alphabet. P, let's see, what's next? Q, right? Q, here's the uppercase Q. And then R, import. Let's see how easy this is. And I've tried a couple of other softwares that have this feature. There's several that have it now, but some of them are, you have to do a lot more stuff to it. This is really easy. And yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit, but it's no big, it's so simple to do it. So we're going to go down to the T. Okay. And here's U, but I wanted to do a whole one of these so you could see what it was like. Here's U, and then we'll type my name in it. Here's V. Here's the V. Right click, import. W. I'm just doing the uppercase letters. And then go down to X. Y, here's the uppercase Y, and then Z. And then we'll do the lowercase. So here is the uppercase Z. Okay, so then let's do the lowercase. So now I'm on, can you resize them when you use them? Yes, you can. So like the letters, it says in the heights here that the minimum and the maximum is kind of like the normal sizing in any of the text fonts. So yes, you can resize them. If they get too big, then you need to make them fills instead of satin stitches. So it'll be the same, basically the same as any other font in the software. So let's do the lowercase. Here's the A. I'm going to right click, import, and then do the lowercase a. Right click, import, and here's the lowercase b. Okay. Right click, import, lowercase c. Right click, import, lowercase d. So these are the ones that say DD. In this particular company, that's how they did it. So let's do E. But see how easy this is? It's so easy. And it was something that it was kind of fun just to sit here and do this with some of the fonts that I found. Then I thought, oh, wow, this would be really cool. So this is E, F. Here's F. Okay, and here's G. Got to remember what letter I'm on. Lowercase g. Here it is. And then H. Import. Let's go find the H. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. HH. And then the I. Import. This is the lowercase I, so I got to find the little II. There we go. And then J. Here's JJ. And then K. So this was really fun. I just really enjoyed playing with this because it was like, wow, these are so cool. So it doesn't take much to excite me, guys. LL. There we go. Here's the L. And then the M. But I was very happy when I found the information about the in the manual because there was so little about this part of the program. Here's N and O. Here's OO. Some purchase fonts of mine are in several sizes. Yes. Any reason to import? No, I didn't import them all, Lynn. I actually just imported like the mediumest size. Like these are 1 inch. So I just picked like a medium size. So no, you don't have to do them all because you can still size them. Basically the same as you can size any of the other fonts that are in here. So I'm just resizing. I just picked kind of a medium size. So let's see, this is Q, P, Q, Q. Here we go. And here's R. This is a cool font. Let's see, R, R. Where did it go? Here it is. And S. So are people doing fonts with me? It's kind of fun. I just found it very relaxing because it was something easy I could do. And once you get them in there, then they're done. And then I'll show you how you can save them. And you can, like if you have 2 computers, you can save them out of one computer and then put them on another computer. So I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Because I figured that out right away. Because I was like, well, how am I going to get them on my other computer at work? Because I don't want to have to do them again. But I figured it out. So I'll show you. V. Let's see, VV, where is it? Here's the V. Okay, and then W. Now this one doesn't have any numbers. So depending on what font you have. Is this a program you can use the 10 needle? Yes, it is, Kathy. I use it with my 10 needle all the time. I love this program. It does everything. Let's see, Y and Z. Now, this particular one doesn't have any numbers. Is this part of PEP or an add-on? This is PEP. Janet, you should have this. So it's under Tools, Font Editor. So you should have this. Okay, so I have all my letters done. So here's all the letters brought in, and you know that you've got them done when you actually have like a, it looks like a embroidered letter up there. Okay. All right, let me turn the page so I won't forget a step here. Okay, I got all my fonts brought in. There is no batch. They keep telling you in here, there is no batch conversion, so you have to bring them in. After all the characters have been imported, click Save. So now I'm happy. Where to purchase? Kathy, we have this software at the store. And also, we're going to be having a dime event. Yeah, thanks, Lynn. We're going to be having a dime event online, and you should have gotten an email because I know you're on our email list on March 9th, and they may have it on sale at that point. So that's another good place. March 9th, it's a virtual event with Dime. And they will, I'm sure they will talk about this software as well. They usually have a special on it at their events. So March 9th. So come to that. It's an applique one. It's very cool. So, all right. So they're all done. So we got them all in there. Look, see, and it didn't take very long to do that. Like I said, I just left everything else at default. Okay. And I'm going to click Save. So when you're done, you just click Save. Okay. That now saved it into my font list. Okay. So let's see. So it's now to close this font editor, I'm just going to click Close. And then it says to open the text tool. So let's go get the text tool, the letter T. Okay. And I'm just going to click down here on my my design area, and I'm going to go over here then to my text drop down, and this one was called what? Fairy tale, right? Fairy tale F. Let's see where to go. Here it is, fairy tale. It's right. It's there. Here's fairy tale. Ooh, look at there. Okay, so let's type my name in it. So we'll type Janice. I'm going to click apply. And there's my name in that font we just did. Isn't that cool? And you can kern it a little bit. You know, it might need to come in a little bit. Get a little closer. That looks, oh, that's kind of neat that it's not really, it doesn't like stay all on the same plane. Isn't that neat? Yeah, I kind of like that. So there's fairy tale. All right. So see how quickly I put them in, and then it's immediately available. So I can just go to my font list over here, and it's just under our standard font. Okay. And there's different kinds of fonts. So isn't that pretty? I thought that was neat. That was Baby K's, I think. And I got a whole bunch of free ones from Baby K's. So there's a bunch of freebies that were in there. Also, if I go back to that folder in my documents, I think there was actually a whole bunch of freebies in there too. And that's some of the ones that I've done. Oops, I think I went past my embroidery designs. Here we go. Oh no, I think I had a folder called fonts. Just one called, oh no, alphabets. I called it alphabets. These were all free. So like, here's a whole bunch of free ones that I did. And I had this 3D, I had Chopin. I had, all of these were free. This countryside, I did that one already. So there were some of these that were just free ones that I did. Like this Easter one was really cute because see, it had all the Easter eggs with the letters on it. So that could be put in there, but these are all like uppercase letters. Okay. So those would just be put in under uppercase letters instead. So that's another one I could do. All right. So yes. So go look for free fonts because there's tons of them out there that are already digitized for you. Okay. So wasn't that neat? I mean, it's not hard. It does take, yes, it does take a little time. Okay. So, but I really enjoyed doing it. And then I can use these fonts so much easier than having to, file merge. It's just so much easier just to type it out. And then you can do the kerning and stuff, and that's very fast. But there's the letters. And that was just the default. I did change this, this uppercase letter. It was a little bit over here. So I just pulled this over with the kerning tools, and that brought it right in the where I wanted it. So yeah, so I thought that was really cool. Okay, so now let me show you my little tricks that I found. So this is some of the stuff that they didn't really tell you anything in this book about this. So there was a couple things. There was a lot of other buttons on there. And I'm like, well, what do these buttons do? And you can see if the font you want so much easier. Yes, instead of having to bring it all in. Okay, so let's go back to tools and font editor. And we're still in that font. Okay, so that font's still open here. To edit a font, you've started. So let's say that we didn't get this whole thing done and I needed to finish it. I could open this. I can go open. And then look, there's all the fonts that are in my font folder. So here's that fairy tale that we were just working on. Well, you know what? I really need to fix the name because it really should be fairy tale all in one word, right? So we're going to click OK. All right, so it brought it back up again. If I wanted to, if I click open, I could have brought up one of the other ones I did. I did one called Candy. Let's see. One called Candy. Where did it go? Candy cursive. Let's see, where did it go? It's CA. Maybe I didn't get it on this one. How about curly? Here's countryside. Here's curly. I did this one too. So I'll just bring that curly up. So that's another one I did. Okay. I must not have gotten candy cursive on this computer, but I'm going to show you how you can do that. So that's how you bring them up. You just hit the open button. So now I know what it does. Then it brings up the whole font, all the fonts that are in there. And let's go back and get fairy tale again. So here's fairy tale. Click OK. All right. So that's how then you can continue on. Like, if you need to continue doing the letters, if you didn't get them all done, you can just continue on, bring it up and then continue on. Now it won't let you save it. The one thing that's a little bit funky is make sure that you have the letter M. Remember that we said the M was kind of the spacing default, the reference character. So if you need to stop and work on it again later, make sure that you save get the letter M in there first, and then it will let you save. Otherwise, it's going to give you an error message that it won't let you save it, because we need to have that reference character in for it to be saved. Okay. Well, when there was a couple more buttons on here, I thought, oh, look, there's a rename button. Well, that's what we need to do to this one. So I'm going to click rename, and I want it to be fairy tale, all one word. Okay. I'm going to click OK. So now if I look over here under general, yeah, I have it now spelled correctly with no space in there. All right. So that's what rename does. To export. So let's say that I want to save this design somewhere where I can then add it to my computer at work, because I want to have all of these designs or these fonts on both my computers. Okay. So there's an export button. So I can just click export, and then see, it gives me all the different fonts. So let's say these are the ones that I've done so far. So let me just grab all the ones, because you can export them all at the same time. So let's see, I got, let's go back up here. 3D Puff Athletic was one I did. Aaron's script. Here's Aaron's script. Countryside was another one I did. Let's see, Countryside. That's under C. Countryside. There it is. Curly was another one. Here's Curly. And Teacher's Pet was another one I did. So let's go grab Teacher's Pet. It's under T here. There it is. And Candy Cursive. I must not have put that one on this computer. Let's see. CA. I must not have put it on this computer, but we did put Fairy Tale. So let me go grab Fairy Tale. So we got Fairy Tale. So there's Fairy Tale. Okay. And that one's checked. So we're going to save those, and it's going to come up and it's going to be a zip file. Okay. And I'm just going to call this My Fonts. You can call it anything. I'm just going to save it on my desktop. Okay. And I'm going to click save. So what it did is it took all of those fonts and just saved them out of the font folder, exported them. Okay. So I've got that all done. Now, this is the deal. I'm going to show you then how to put them on another computer. Okay, so you might want to make some notes because this is not in the book. I just figured this out by playing around with it. Okay, so I'm going to close this for a minute, and I'm going to minimize this. We need to find that folder I just meant. Okay, can you still hear me? Jan, I have lost sound. Do you guys have sound? Can you give me some thumbs ups? Can you do the little thumbs ups if you can hear me okay? I can't tell because can you hear me? Okay, people are telling me they can hear me. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. Thank you. So what we need to do first in order to use to get the fonts to a different computer, here's that folder that I got all those fonts. Okay, so here's my zip folder. I'm going to right click, and this is a lesson for those of you who have trouble unzipping. So here's my zip folder. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to extract all. Okay, it's going to go right down on my desktop. I'm going to hit extract, and it's going to open up. So here's my fonts right here. Okay, we'll get rid of the zip folder. We don't need that anymore. And here's my fonts that I just did. And I'm going to open up this inside this little folder that says main fonts. So here are those fonts that we did. So there is a bitmap file. So there's like a picture file and then a file called EFN. Okay, that is the actual file. So what I would do is I would copy all of these files. I would copy, whoops, let me get the rest of the sound down here. I would copy all of these files. So I'm going to Control A. I want all of them. And I'm going to right click and copy those. Okay, so I selected them. I'm sorry. Control A selects all. Okay. Then I need to navigate to a special folder where all these fonts are for your software. So you may need to write this little path down. Okay. So I'm going to go to this PC. And then I'm going to go to the C drive. And then I'm going to go to program data. Now, this one is a little, can be a problematic folder because some people have this, it's like a hidden folder, and I have it so that it shows up. Okay, so I had to go under view, and whoops, not view. I had to go under my options, folder options, and tell it to under view that to display the hide. See, where is it? It's here somewhere. Got to find it. Show hidden folders. Okay. So you want to show your hidden folders. And that one sometimes is hidden. It's called program data. So you go to the little dots, go to folder options, and then view, and then find show hidden folders. It's right here. Hidden files and folders, show hidden files, folders, and drives. Okay. So that's real important. If my computer came with that all defaulted as on, but not everybody's does. All right. So that could be a little bit of a problem for you to see that folder. So mine's right here. It's called program data. So I'm going to double click on that. And then I'm going to go to G7 Solutions. That's the company that makes this software. I'm going to double click in there. Then I'm going to go to Embroidery Toolshed, which is like the overall, the overall name of the software. Okay. Then I'm going to go to fonts. Here's that font folder. Look at there. We're going to go to fonts. And then I'm going to I'm just going to right click and I'm going to paste in here. Now it's going to say that those files are already in here. So I'm just going to skip for right now because they're already there. Okay. But that's the folder you have to go into. And if you need me to type this out and put it up on the group, I will do that. This little path, but then you can copy, you can save them on a stick and then take it to your second computer and put them in your folder, so you don't have to redo on the second computer. So I thought that was something I really wanted to do, because you can export them. Okay. And it's good to export any of the ones you've done too, because then if you ever got a new computer and you had to put all of your program back on, then you would have to do these all over again if you didn't save them, because they'd be gone. So it's very important to do that, to export any of these you've done, so that you can save them and then you can put them back in to your software later if you need to get a new computer. Okay, so that's why they put that export button there. But that's the folder where they are. And if you need me to write that path down and put it on the group, I will do that so that you know where they go. Okay, so that was a couple of the things I wanted to figure out. I wanted to figure out, what some of the other buttons were. So tools, font editor, and, open, open will let me open something else. Is this different than adding TrueType fonts that you have downloaded from DeFont? Yes. So that's what I'm getting to next, Lynn. This is the fonts that you have brought in the font editor that are already already done. They're already digitized. TrueType fonts are a totally different animal. Okay. So that's what we're going to get to next. So Lynn wants to know about TrueType fonts. So I can actually take TrueType fonts with the same part of the program, this font editor, and I can digitize my own fonts. And I put a little thing up on the Dime board a little while ago and asked, why would I want to do that? And I kind of knew the answer, but I wanted to see what other people's thoughts were about it. So when you come over here, let's just hit a new piece of paper, and you get your text tool. Okay. And I go over here. If you go over here, this is where your texts are. And this is all the fonts that are digitized over here on the right. Okay. But it gives you the option now to click this little box that says TT, which means TrueType. And if you click that, then this drop-down menu is going to give me all of the TrueType fonts that I have on my computer, which are more like fonts that I would use like with my Scan and Cut or with typing programs or anything like that. But they've added a thing to the program that the program will kind of digitize those TrueType fonts on the fly. So they kind of digitize automatically for you. And it does a pretty good job. I've had pretty good luck. Not all of them digitize well. So I can actually spend time digitizing a font. Let's say you have a favorite font and you want to spend some time digitizing it so it sews out beautifully instead of just kind of on the fly. And that's why I would use this next section of font editor. So if I really want a font, like I have a favorite font that I always use, like there's one that I really like, and I've used it many times. It's called Boys on Mopeds. And this one actually sews out really well, and I have used it without digitizing it. It's called Boys on Mopeds. If I can find it, here it is. And this one, this is just going to be digitized on the fly. I'm going to I click the TT over here. It's a satin stitch. You can see it says satin stitch or artwork over here. And then it's a keyboard font. So let's say I just put my name in here and click apply. So this was actually a TrueType font on my computer that it digitized on the fly. So now if you look at this, you can see there are some issues with these letters. Like this N down here doesn't look quite right, and this E does not look quite right, does it? So this would be a font that I might want to do this next procedure with so that I could have a perfect font with boys on mopeds, just because I like boys on mopeds. Okay. So that's the other thing that you would use this for, is you could create your own font with a TrueType font. So let's do a new here, and I'm going to go back up to Tools and Font Editor, and you're going to go into and start this the same way that we did the other ones that were already digitized, but we're going to do this a little differently. So now I'm going to do New again. Okay, and I'm going to call this Boys on Mopeds. Okay, and the other one that I was working on that is really pretty is Beautiful Every Time. So we may just do that one. Let's just do that one, because that's the one I had chosen. Beautiful, B-E, can't spell, B-E, Beautiful Every Time. That was one of the ones that I was playing with that I thought was really pretty. This one is going to be a TrueType font, because we're going to use TrueType fonts to do this one. So I'm going to leave this, instead of saying a stitch file, I'm going to tell it it's TrueType font. Okay. And I type the name in, click the eclipse button. And then this time, the little button down here, I'm going to go under TrueType, because there's no folder for the designs. This is a TrueType that's on your computer. So I'm going to click the little arrow or the little dots, and I'm going to go find Beautiful Every Time is what it's called. Oops, I think I went past it here. Beautiful Every Time. So these are all fonts that are on my computer. Mine are going to look different than yours, because it depends on what you have on your computer. Beautiful Every Time. I thought it was a real pretty font. And then I'm just going to leave it as regular. Okay. Whoops. Let's bring this up so you can see it a little bit better. Turn my page so I don't forget a step. And then select the TrueType font desired and click OK. So I got the one I wanted, Beautiful Every Time, and click OK. And you're going to click OK one more time. Okay. So now on the screen, it actually shows kind of a representation of the letters that is that TrueType font. Okay. And it will appear in the box over here on the right. These are the letters. Okay. Turn my page again. And I'm going to leave everything at the default here. I've been leaving everything kind of default, because that's what they recommended doing. So I assume they probably have kind of chosen design sizes and stuff that are pretty common to most fonts. So I figured they know what they're doing. I'll just leave it at the default. Okay. All right. So this letter is artwork. This is artwork, because TrueTypes are artwork. To make it a letter, I have to go in and this is going to be a little different. It's going to double click. And then you have to move the box out of the way, and look, there's a letter. Okay. And again, there's no batch conversion. Okay. And if you see on the screen, there's little green lines and little purple lines. Okay. The purple line is the bottom of the letter, and the green is the right hand, like the right hand side of the letter. Okay. The green line to the right of the A should be adjusted so the next letter isn't on top of it. So in other words, you want to kind of leave that green line. You can pull those lines a little bit over to the edge of the A. And then I want to move my A up a little bit so that it's up on the purple line, so that's the bottom of the letter. So this one we have to do a little bit of work on it. Okay. And again, this is artwork. So what are some of the things that we do with artwork? We can digitize artwork, can't we? Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing here. And then we can adjust the letters so that they sew better. So even though this would auto digitize with that TrueType little button that I clicked with the lettering tool, the lettering tool, this way I can go in and I can go into every single letter and make it be perfect. So that's the difference. Like with Boys on Mopeds, that's a font that I use all the time. And some of the letters are a little wonky when they auto digitize. Well, then I could go in and I could fix every letter so that it's perfect. And that's what I can do with this. And that's why you would want to use this. Okay. So now I'm ready to make this into stitches. It's just artwork right now. So I'm going to right click, convert to, and I'm going to convert to a satin because I would like this to be a satin stitch font. So I'm going to click satin. And if I click the little realistic preview over there, look, there's my A in satin stitches. Okay. And now I want to save this. And the thing that's weird about this section is if in order to save this letter, I have to save it up here on the desktop because I am working on the design page. I need to hit the save button up here and it's going to show up now blue in my little font editor window over here. Okay. This save down here saves the whole thing. I use the save up here to save it into the font editor screen. So then if I need to adjust this A, I can use my shape tool and I can make adjustments with my zigzag stitches, you know, my satin stitches. I can adjust things and I can make my letter perfect. So that's what's neat about digitizing them this way. Is then you know that the font is really going to sew out better than it does when you use the on the fly method in with just the text tool. Because I asked on the group, why would I want to spend all the time doing this? And they said, if your text, if you've got some letters that come up and they're not good with the auto digitized version, take your time and make all the letters so that they sew out really well. And that's why you would want to use this. Okay, so this is basically digitizing a font from each font letter. Okay, and from a TrueType font, and then I can go in here, and there's a lot of little nodes and different things, and I can go in here and I can change the angle of the satin stitches. You know, if I go in here and I hit, see how I changed the angle of that satin stitch. So now it's kind of curved more. So it depends on what you want it to look like. Okay. And so here's these, see how I can change the little font or the little directions of different things. And then every time you change something, it's going to make the letter look different. And that's how you can really clean them up and make them look perfect. Okay. I didn't want to get into this too much because it's a little more complicated and it's not something that I thought people would use every day unless you have a favorite font that you want to be perfect when you're typing with it. Most of us have a lot of purchased fonts that those are already been digitized professionally and they come in and they're going to be really nice. This would be something that I would do for my favorite TrueType fonts that I can't get and no one's ever digitized them, then I can digitize my own font. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I would then do the next letter. You know, I already saved this one. So I'm just going to resave it. And then I'd go to B. So I'm going to go over here and double click on B. And here's B up here. Okay. And then I would do the same thing. I would select my letter, right click, convert to a satin. And then I would look at it in realistic view and see if it looks like it would sew out okay. And then if I think that would be okay, I'll save it. And then see it shows up here over on my font editor window. And I would just go one letter at a time and literally digitize my font. Okay. So that's the other way you can use this. You can actually digitize your own fonts from TrueType fonts. Like Lynn says, from DeFont is a place you can get lots of free fonts. And I will probably go through and do Boys on Mopeds because you notice that there was, let's do a new one. you notice that there was a couple of letters that are kind of wonky. And like that E was really weird. So let's do TrueTypes. Let's go do Boys on Mopeds. And I'll show you that E was really weird. So that it'd be one that I could fix it. You know, I could go through, whoop, I think I went past it. But I could go through and I could fix that so that those letters would sew out better. Okay. Let's click OK. So here's Boys on Mopeds. And the one that was really weird was that lowercase e. So let's go down to that. And let's bring this in. So here's that lowercase e. Okay. That, remember, it had this funky looking thing down here. So let's see what it does. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to convert to a satin. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So see, it is kind of weird. So what probably would work better here with my shape tool, I might be able to get this worked out that it would do this whole part here. I don't know if this is going to work. So that looks better. See how that looks better? Let's take the realistic off and see how I got that curve over here to look better by playing with the angles. And that's why you would want to use this. Because if you've got a really favorite font like I do, then you could really make the font look nice and clean instead of being, you know, like you might have a letter or two that are just kind of wonky if you do it the other way. All right. So there's that E starting to look better. So I would go through and just check, you know, do a little bit more work with it, but see how I just made a couple of small changes and how much better it looks. Okay, so that is the other section of Font Editor. That is the actual digitizing area where I can digitize and make my own letters, my own lettering font from a TrueType font. I could also have just digitized my own font from TrueType fonts by bringing them in as artwork and just do it. And then I could import them like we did the original one. Let's say I've already done that with this, and I could bring them in the same way we did the first one that was already digitized. See, so hopefully this makes sense. I didn't want to get into this too deep because this is not something that a lot of people are going to use probably, unless you have a font like I do that I really, really like. You know, like here's this one was just kind of, this whole area was just kind of wonky, and I wanted to play with this one. That's why I brought this one up so I could show you, because this is the one that I noticed was really weird. And it just didn't have a very good look at the bottom of this E. And it's usually the angle of the stitches. So if you just play with the little black angle boxes, then you can get it to look better. Okay, so it is starting to look better. See, I've still got a little spot over here that I have to play around with. But it is starting to look better. And that's how you can get those to turn out and sew out much better. Okay. All right. So what do you think of Font Editor? Isn't it pretty cool? What I would really tell you to do, get your manual, and it goes through all of this stuff that I've been rambling through tonight, and get your little manual out, print off, like even if you just print off the stuff on Font Editor, it takes you through step by step how to do the pre-digitized ones like we did at the beginning. And then it takes you through step by step what I'm playing with now, digitizing it. Isn't that cool? So so I would just tell you to get your manual and even just print out those 30, it's about 30 pages or 35 pages. And then go through and just do it with the book, because there's lots of pictures, and I think you'll get along really well with it. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know that I'm going to digitize a lot of fonts, but I would like to do this one because I use it all the time. And there's several of the letters that don't turn out very well when I just do it with the other text tool way. You know, take my text tool, do this, and then click the TT over here and use that one. So sometimes things don't turn out very well. Okay. So isn't this cool? I thought it was cool. I mean, but I love the idea of bringing in my purchased fonts and making them keyboard fonts, so I don't have to bring in, you know, do file merge to bring them all in. Okay. All right. So if you need the little, do you want me to post the navigation? I could put that right on this post. Why don't I do that? I'll post the navigation, that little address that you need to go to export your designs and then put them into another computer, or to save them after you've done them so you don't have to redo them again. So I'll do that. Please post the navigation. Yeah, I'll do that I'll just do it on this post and I'll just type it out because I've got it written out here on a piece of paper. Okay. Are there any other questions? Isn't that a cool little area to work with? I really thought people would really use it with the purchase fonts because I know a lot of people buy fonts. And, it's just, let me go back to it's like I'm going to stop the sharing here so you can come back to see me. Okay. And then we will, next week, let's see what's next. Oh, next week is another one of the Easter pillows. So it's one of the little Easter bench buddies is next week. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to post that navigation address for you so you know where to put your designs. And please, do some of your fonts. There's a lot of fonts and it's so much fun to do them. And I actually just found it very relaxing sitting and just right click, import, right click, and just bring them in. And it just, it was fun and easy. And I brought in a whole bunch of different fonts. So I probably got 6 or 8 different fonts I did just by playing with it. So, okay. So that is Font Editor in Perfect Embroidery Pro. So if you have any questions, let me know. And if you need me to go through anything again, let me know. I mean, I can go through a couple things, or if you need to call me, I can help you out. So everybody have a good day. And I will see you next week for a little embroidery with the Easter bench buddies. So thanks, everybody. Good night.